Yes, we are live. Yeah, still on the streaming. Starting stream soon. One more text.
On here it shows the thumbnail. Or maybe it's just not showing up on my screen. Maybe the thumbnail is there. Do you guys see a Moon Knight thumbnail, or is it just my logo and like that it? You pin chat. You can now pin messages at the top. Dude, I've known that forever. Why are you just now notifying me of this?
No, you're new to
Apparently,
YouTube as well,
I'm new.
Tobias.
I forgot I'm new to this stuff. What's up, Andre and Judah? Welcome, welcome.
There you
What's up,
go.
Captain and non-Spider-Man 2099 owner? Yeah, Judah. Not me anymore. You know who he's talking about though? I'm not aware of
I dislike everybody.
Oh man. It's gonna be one of those days again. We're starting off like that. Oops.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Moon Knight thumbnails on both. Tobias says.
Moon Knight thumbnails on. Okay, so my thumbnail is
Yeah,
showing up.
your thumbnail showing is what they're saying.
Because on my side, it just shows like what my channel art is, like the picture with Loki and my logo.
Yeah, your
It,
thumbnail's there.
it says the Moon Knight thing and everything.
Yeah.
It says the
Okay.
Moon Knight. That's freaking weird, man. All right. Well, as long as it shows for you guys, it doesn't matter what I see.
It don't matter what you see. It just matters what we see. And for those who don't already have Cap the Bay and subbed, there's his link there. I'll pin that to the top of my chat.
Same with Ghost Dog. It's right down in the description, guys. Moon Knight is kind of boring, says Andre.
Just because you don't understand.
Yeah, it's
It's it's
out
good.
there. Yeah.
And this past week episode was if you were really confused before,
This one
you're more
confused me
confused.
even more.
You're
Yeah.
more confused this week.
This is kind of doing like a reverse WandaVision. Like it started out kind of normal and then keeps getting weirder and weirder and more confusing
Yep.
as it goes.
Yep.
Or WandaVision started off like, wait, what is happening? And then it gradually got more understand.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Moon Knight live.
Called The Tomb, episode 4.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to look at the title.
No, you're good. I got it today.
There we go. As long
Just
as one
watched
of
it.
us, you know,
I
between
watched
the
it
two
this
of us,
morning.
we got this.
I watched it again this morning for some things I was looking for that I thought I might have missed. Do you guys ever? Does anybody else watch it with the closed caption on?
Only if I need like pronunciation or like, or I want you to know how to spell something or understand
Spell
exactly
something.
what they're saying, but I usually leave it off.
Yeah, I mean, generally I'm more of a let's leave it off type of thing. And today I was watching it and I was like, oh, he said something there that we didn't hear,
Huh,
that you can't hear on, if you're not really, if you don't have it turned up loud.
really?
Yeah.
Who was
It's
it?
when they were in the tomb. Steven said it when they were entering the tomb. He says, oh, just walk. Something about when they were walking into the tomb. He says, oh,
Uh-huh.
go this way, or we can just die.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was so faint you didn't hear him say it. It was like under the music,
Hmm.
almost. But it
I'll have
popped
to go
up on
back
the.
and I'll have to go back and watch that.
I see. I am confused, but the good one. Like I can't look away, and kind of sad that there's only 2 episodes left. Yeah, and I'm very interested what these next 2 episodes are going to look like. But let's break down episode 4. So
Yeah.
episode 4. Man,
The Tomb, you said it was,
yeah,
right?
the Tomb is what it was called, and made sense because majority of the episode was in a tomb.
Yeah. Felt very
Um,
much like an Indiana Jones feel as they were getting into the tomb and everything.
hmm
There were a lot of callbacks to Indiana Jones in this
A lot of
episode.
callbacks to Indiana Jones.
And a little Tomb Raider as well.
Yeah. So it opens up with I forgot the guy's name already.
The other
But
god,
the
yeah.
other god walking Khonshu's carcass thing
little
into
statue.
his little statue into this tomb of, if you were paying attention, were other gods in the tomb.
Yeah, it wasn't just
We
one. There's a lot. I
There
think
were
someone said they counted
several
up to 10. I think it
others.
was a total of 10.
Yeah, so it was several other gods in his tomb that they were there. So Khonshu was one of them,
Hmm.
and it just looks like this is where they put you when when you f up.
You go
Except
against the God's
except
will.
for Amet,
That's-
except for
yeah,
Amet,
for
yeah,
Ahmed.
except for Amet. Everybody else went here.
Yeah.
Like, you mess up, you go sit in the timeout corner over there.
Yeah, and
You
this
go.
instantly kind of makes you think back to last episode, episode 3, at the end, where Khonshu talked about, like, I remember that night, and he sounded like sad about it. Makes you wonder
Mhm.
if that some of the gods were imprisoned from
From that night,
that war, or
yeah,
whatever was going on then that night, and that's where they're now placed here. And so I don't know. That's kind of interesting to think about. Might be something that's explained a little bit more. I don't know.
yeah, for sure. Um, came across my Discord. Somebody tagged me in something. Hold on one second.
So yeah, after that scene, it pops back over to Layla and Mark. She's trying, or Steven at the time. It was Steven, but Steven's, or is Steven? Do we even see Steven at the start? I think we just see his body
Uh,
laying there still. I think he's just laying there, and
yeah,
she's
Steven's just laying there.
Harrow's men
Layla,
start to approach.
yeah, she sees the jeep pull, they're coming, and she's trying to wake him up. She calls him Mark initially,
Yeah,
trying to still decipher when Mark's there and when Steven's there
yeah,
for Layla. So there's that. So she drags him and pretty much lunges him down one of the sand hills to try to save him from the guys coming, because at that point they start
yeah.
shooting at him. And then if you want to take it from there, Captain, I realize that I have you blocked off of my screen.
Oh,
I'll be right back to you.
oh, good. Yeah. So yes, Harrow's men are chasing her. They're coming down on her, and then she gets into the vehicle. She's able to hide from them for a second, and then she pulls out a flare to distract them when they start to approach Steven. And she's trying to save Steven. Pulls out the flare to distract, and as they start shooting at her, then she throws the flare onto the truck, and it starts blowing up all the bullets or whatever. I'm not really sure exactly how that happens. I don't know if that's scientifically accurate way of that would have gone
Yeah,
down. I don't know.
she definitely was. She took the flare
Yeah,
and basically lit the bullets on fire.
yeah. Which
Somehow avoiding
yeah,
getting hit herself,
yeah.
which is amazing.
Hmm. So then, yeah, after that, they're able to get in the car and escape, basically. And then after that, actually, then Steven
Steven wakes up.
wakes up and he's like, oh, he's all fine, which I thought was kind of weird. So we don't actually get an explanation as to how he's alive still, because we were implied earlier on that they're only alive because of Khonshu, and that
Right.
without him, that
Like,
we didn't really know, and it
but
appeared,
maybe because of having Khonshu already healed whatever was keeping
yeah, I
them
guess.
from being
And
alive.
I guess maybe just once Khonshu left them, that he was just left like knocked out for a period of time, just
Yeah,
kind
like
of,
it just drained them.
yeah, something. So I don't know, I guess. So
So
then, yeah, go
they
ahead.
get to they get to the dig site, right?
Yeah, well, they, in the car, they kind of have a little bit of discussion of just like going
Well,
back
Mark and Steven are having some back and
yeah, they're having
forth.
the back and forth in the side mirror, and Steven's like trying to block him out, and he's telling Layla, like, nope, it's just gonna be me and you. Like, we're gonna leave him out of this. He's got no part of this. Like,
Yeah. It's just
screw
me,
that
you,
guy.
and
We
the
don't
open
like.
road.
Yeah.
And then from that moment, she stops. It's like,
Yep.
no,
And
no,
we're
it's
we're
the
walking
open
the rest
road.
of the way, and he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, I guess it's me, you, and
Yeah.
not the open road.
Then they get. I think kind of Mark also at that point too. He kind of says something to Steven like, "Do you love her? Like, are you serious? Like, you're falling in love with her?" Or
He's like,
something?
you're falling in love with my
Like,
wife?
yeah, yeah. It's just
Like,
something like, come on, dude, really?
but,
um,
I mean, I get it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's like like two twins having a conversation with each other. Like,
yeah. Well, and I've also heard too that like, so that this Steven character was created by Mark after he decided to leave Layla, and that he subconsciously sent the part of him that loved Layla into the Steven persona. So that's why the Steven side of things is like really, really showing. Seems like he really likes her and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. And she is seeing the way he acts around her, and it's attracting her to the Steven side because it's the side of him that likes her still. Because
Yeah,
the Mark is trying to push her away and
trying to push
everything.
her
So
away, and Steven's trying to keep her
so it makes
around. And
sense that she would naturally then be attracted to the Steven as well.
the funniest part of that conversation between Mark and Steven was, if you do anything, if you kiss her or something, I'll throw us off a cliff.
Yeah, yeah. And so then, sure enough, they get to the dig site. They start like getting ready to dive down into it,
Yeah.
and then Layla comes in close, and
For this
obviously
awkward, yeah, Steven's kind of like,
Steven's just like,
maybe I
"Oh,
should.
dude, do I let it happen? Do I go for it?" And then he just like
Yeah,
basically like blocks himself from
getting kissed.
getting kissed, and he just says Mark was hiding from you that Khonshu wants your body to be his avatar. Just kind
Yep.
of like blurts that out just like out of the blue, and
As a,
she's
as
just
a
like,
block.
yeah, yeah,
X blocks the square.
yes. um and so she's just like, why would that matter? Like that's not his decision, like it's not up to him, kind of like whatever. Then they end up kissing anyways.
Yeah, he's going into her.
Yeah,
She's like, what I need is honesty. And
yeah,
she's like, I guess that's more of a you thing. And she's
yeah.
like, yeah. And then they have a small talk conversation, and then he leans in and kisses her.
Hmm.
And then she says, well, I better go down before I get, was it belay? Is what she said.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then so she jumps down, and as he looks down, you can see the quick shift, and Steven punches Mark.
Yeah, like Steven obviously like loses focus for a little bit, allows Mark to gain a little bit of control, then he punches himself.
Punches him in the face. It was just
which was pretty good.
hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
So Layla gets down first, gets into the tomb area, and writes these two letters. I'm assuming they're whatever language that she's from.
Arabic,
Because they were.
you think?
Was it Arabic?
I don't even
Yeah.
know. Something like that.
It's Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
And so it
Something
looked like
I
a
don't
backwards
understand.
three. Looked like a backwards 3 and a 1, but they were initials, and they were initials for her father. In the sand.
Yeah, because this is what her and her father had been looking for the whole time, so she finally
Exactly.
found it. So it's kind of her honoring her father.
Yep. And then right after that, you hear Steven fall down the
Very-
hole. She's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm aces." Like, yeah.
Hieroglyphics.
No,
It might have been hieroglyphics. Neil says in my chat. Could have been. Yeah.
No, they definitely. She definitely says they were her dad's initials.
Yeah.
She actually, because Steven said, "Did you make that?" And she pointed out that those were the initials of my father. He loved it.
Okay.
And he asked her, "Oh, a big historian?" He's like, "No, he was a what was an architect? No, not
Archaeologist?
Archaeologist. Thank you. Good lord. Words
He's
are
an
hard today.
architect.
Words are hard today.
Ted Mosby, architect. Anybody? Yeah.
So yeah.
He's
Oh,
at How I
yeah,
Met You-
How I Met Your Mother.
There we go.
How I Met Your Mother.
Nice.
Uh,
So yeah,
see.
then they're in these like tunnels where they're just kind of walking around trying to
yeah.
figure out.
It's like a maze.
Yeah, it's like a
almost. They're trying
maze.
to figure it out. And somehow, I don't know how they figured this out, or how Steven figured it out. He figured out it was in the shape of the Eye of Horus.
Eye of Horus, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say it exactly, but
And I was like-
based off of that, they were able to discover which way they were supposed to go because there was like 6 different directions, and then they decided we need to go this way. Which I don't know. It wasn't like it didn't fully, in my opinion, get explained in a sense because then
Like, how did they figure this out? Because it was
Yeah.
just a bunch of tunnels.
I don't
Like,
even know.
It doesn't make sense.
But then it leads them to this chamber where they see some bones, a bunch of like paint material. I don't even know stuff. I don't know what. There was just a lot of weird things. Then they hear a noise. Someone's coming. They hide, and this creature shows up,
It's
dragging
like-
a body.
They hear the gunshots.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's right. They hear the
Before
gunshots
Layla
first.
even asked, like,
Yeah.
She's seen bullets laying on the ground. She's like,
What are they shooting
wonder
at?
what they're shooting at.
That's right. Yeah, they saw bullets earlier. Then they asked like, what are they shooting at?
Yeah.
Then this creature shows up, which I can only assume is some kind of mummy thing.
Yeah.
Which we
One
kind
of
of
those.
joked about last week. Like, are we going to see mummies? Well, we actually
Yeah.
did.
We actually
in a
seen the
sense.
mummies. Yeah. 'Cause
Um,
they were more like the guards of the tomb.
And who knows what this ritual was that they were doing for this, or why he was basically harvesting this dude's organs. But it was very gruesome. uh, and then Layla's trying to like sneak around to try to like hide and hopefully get away.
Yep. Well,
Make
she's
it
hiding. She's hiding at the table because she sent Steven up to look for another exit because Steven happened to notice the fresh blood and the meaty bits,
Yeah.
as he called them, on the table. And then as they were going to walk out to another area, they noticed the fresh blood that was drugged right there.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, there's got to be a different way of it inside, another way out of here." So they look up. They say there's possibly a way out up that way. She tells Steven to go up. They go look where there was additional ritual areas where people were, I don't know what you call it, but they were definitely, something was done to them there.
Being harvested, basically. I don't even know.
Body parts being harvested at some point. But the weird thing, you heard the thing, we don't know what it was.
I think it's some kind of clicking noise.
Yeah, it was a clicking noise. And someone broke it down because these things have no eyes and no tongues. The clicking sound was kind of like a sonar for their
echo sense,
their vision,
be able
like an
to,
echo sense. Yeah.
yeah. So that could be the case. Either way, these guys were creepy looking. It felt very much like an orc from Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
I felt like, and then eventually she makes the noise, alerts this creature that there's someone there,
starts clicking away,
and then
hops on the table.
Hops
and then
up on-
hears Mark
Yep.
up above and does this weird flip up. And,
Yeah.
like catches underneath and starts right before he gets up. She takes one of the little crater thing, little storage things for the body parts and throws it up against the wall. Mark tells her to run. She takes off down the one way. The thing chases her, and Steven says, I'll
find you. Splits up.
And he goes another way.
Yeah.
So at this point, this is where you find out that we now know why Khonshu wants Layla's body, because she already did the one stab thing with the necklace, right? She stabbed the guy in the necklace. She's ruthless. She ends up fighting this thing on pretty much a cliff.
Yeah.
It's a cliff. It was really dark in there. I remember when she first gets to the end of it, she almost falls off because she didn't realize it was like an empty room. Then she takes like, I don't know how much supplies of the flares she has.
Yeah.
She's got an endless supply of flares.
I just always carry around a couple extra flares with me too, so it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I guess when you're a cave explorer like that, you do. I don't know.
Yeah, you maybe carry a few flares around.
But yeah, while she's scuffling with that other, I don't know if it's the same mummy or a different one, but
I feel like it was the same one.
She's able to rip off the arm, and then
first he grabs her and like pulls her back into this void.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah.
She kept going in and out.
It kept going in and out.
But then once he rips the arm off, he's like trying to stab her with the bone of his like arm, which was like sheesh. And then yet again, she has another flare.
Another flare.
Another flare.
Just
She
flares
rips
all
it
over the
up
place.
and like what? She stabs it in, sticks it in his face.
Sticks it in his eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then throws him over the edge.
And almost takes herself with him, but she's able to
Yep.
grab hold and shows off some impressive upper body strength and pulls herself up with ease.
Yep.
I could not have done that.
Nope, I'd have been dead.
I would have been a goner. I would have been a goner long before that. It got to that point, I guess. But yeah.
Let's see. Let's read real quick. I got Manuel here bragging about his pulls from this weekend.
Nice.
Not here for that today, Manuel. J Mad Dog says, yeah, digging holes and building houses. J Mad Dog. Jason Jabbar Gaming, what's up? Manuel also says, I feel inside of the sarcophagus is the owner of the body. That's why he's locked up, and Steven and Mark are the split personalities. Interesting. We can talk about that a little bit later. And it sounds like he was drinking the guy's blood. I think he was doing more cutting into the body than drinking blood and harvesting like the body parts
Yeah.
than anything else. And yeah, Jason talks about how her father died, which we'll talk about here a little bit later. What's going on, Affliction? And then Silver was good. All right, so I'm caught up in my chat. If you got to catch up with anybody in your chat now,
Just Neil saying a few things. He's saying the zombie guy trying to stab. The arm bone was freaky.
Armbone was freaky.
Yeah.
Armbone was freaky.
Yeah, that was.
So at the end of the fight, she looks up and guess who's just standing there watching? He just stood there watching. Arthur Harrow.
Yep, he just shows up like he tends to do in these episodes, out of nowhere, just like, oh yeah, of course you're here as well.
Yeah.
And decides to have a little sit down with her, and literally sits down. Basically explains to her that Mark was there when her father died. He has a big old like monologue speech and everything too. I don't remember everything he said, but ended with him basically breaking the news like, look, he's not going to tell you. I'll tell you. Mark was there when your father died.
Yeah, when your father died.
And he's not telling you this because he knows more than he wants you to know.
Right. I think he kind of almost made the assumption that Mark killed her dad.
Yeah, he definitely is trying to influence her to think that Mark is the one that did it, which
we all thought.
We all kind of assumed that.
Yeah.
But Mark later confirmed, he admits saying that he didn't do it, which I guess until we see actual footage of it, there's no way of knowing, I guess. But he also, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, I guess, but he explains, like, I should have died that night too. Like, I was shot. Khonshu saved me, though, because my coworker dude got out of control.
Right. So Harold tells her that, tells her to wake up as they separate and go in another room. Then we split to a different area of the tomb where we see Steven in his all nerdy fashion and talk about all my I'm in the tomb of a pharaoh. It's got to be one of the big ones. He's walking around. He's trying to figure out who it is. He starts naming off a few of them as he walks across this shallow pond area over on rocks. But the pond was definitely shallow, correct? Am I wrong for assuming that it was shallow?
I definitely didn't seem like it was.
And the reason why I'm saying that is
for what happens later.
Yeah. He gets to the sarcophagus. Before that, he looks down in the water. There's a reflection. Again, a lot of reflections. A lot of areas that you wouldn't think would be super reflective. But, in this really dark tomb, there's really reflective water in there. And Mark says, so you kissed her. Like, he already knew that he kissed her, right?
It's like, I gotta make this awkward, so you kissed her.
You gotta make this awkward. Yeah, what are you gonna do, drown us? He's like, I might. I should. And so he sees Steven sees the sarcophagus, reads pulls up on it and says, I forget what he says, but he says that, oh my God, is it who I think it is, because he always referred to himself as Egyptian, but he wasn't Egyptian. He was something else. And but it ended up being Alexander the Great's tomb.
Yeah.
Which, he did a lot of conquering. He probably did need some help doing all that.
Yeah, and so then they definitely hint at the fact, basically, that he very well could have been the last avatar of Amet, and was the voice of Amet.
They were assuming he was the last avatar.
Yeah, they're basically implying that, which is kind of crazy to think about, that all the conquering Alexander the Great was able to do was because of Amet, possibly. And then he opens up the sarcophagus and has to.
Mark's like, where's the? I keep forget when they call the little thing. What's the thing basically that the guys get imprisoned in? The little stone thing.
I just call it a statue. I can't remember what they call it. But yeah, they're trying to find Amet. They got one of Amet, and Steven's like, well, they would have to hide this in a place that the normal Tomb Raider wouldn't think to look for, or normal thief wouldn't think to look, or whatever they said. And he's like, well, he was the mouth of Amet, then decides to
go inside the
defile this body,
defile
his
this body,
bones.
stick his hand, down his
Deep
throat.
in there.
Mark says the language was Macedonian. Yes,
Okay.
that was correct. Definitely correct. What's going on, Fred? But yeah, so he rips basically back the bandages and he sticks his hand down there. And while he's doing that, Layla pops up around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Is it right after he pulls out?
Yeah, right after he gets it, and he's like, "Oh, I have it."
Yeah, and then I think also the men of Harold Tiller had popped up by this time and said there's a different way for them to go to get to where they needed to go.
Yeah, and when she first walks up, she asks him a question though, and she's like, "Can he hear me?" And she's implying Mark, and he's just like, "Who, Alexander? No, I'm pretty sure he can't hear you." Like, he's just so clueless, like, what is going on? Like, he's all excited he found what they came there to find, and she's obviously just like distraught right now and doesn't know what to say, and is like mad, and she
like,
wants
to
talk to
Mark.
My
father?
Did you kill him? He instantly just what? Mark, this one's on you.
Steven, he's like, I'm out.
He's like quickly I have no part of this. This is all
Zero
you.
part. It's all you.
Yeah.
Someone said Fred says the scene between Layla and Mark was ridiculous. It was, but it needed that little bit of drama. And you kind of knew it was going to come at a bad time because that's just how movies work.
Yeah.
So, there you go. So they have their little talk, and Mark's like, "Let's go. We gotta go.
We gotta get out of here. We can talk about this later. We just gotta get out of here now."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Just tell me the truth." And he's like, "Yes, I was there. No, I didn't kill him." Explains the whole thing we were talking about earlier. Tells her
he's been trying to tell her since the day they met.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, so we met because you knew you were
there when my father got is that the only reason we met?
Yeah, it's the only reason we met.
Yeah. What's up, Panda Man Pete? How you doing?
Pete, what's going on?
Check it out, Panda Man Pete. I've been talking with him about like keyboards and what I should get, and I was letting him know because he's built a lot of PCs and
built a lot of PCs
and keyboards and everything too. I guess so. Yeah. So, anyways, of course, they're delaying of getting out of there. Harrow and his men
should be getting out of there.
Yes. Like what? Obviously,
we got our met. Let's get the heck out of here.
But of course, we can't have things happen easy in TV shows and movies. So, Harrow shows up and he's just like, "All right, good job. Let me have that. I'll take it off your hands. Like, come on, just."
Actually, no. He gives it to Layla, doesn't he?
Does he? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe he gave it to Layla and told her to, get out of there and he'll hold him off.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He grabs the axe out of the sarcophagus and.
Yeah, but I was meaning Harrow is like telling him to give him the statue.
Actually, no, I don't think he ever said that. I think what he said was, he was telling him about his first night that he didn't have Khonshu.
Oh
How it was relaxing to not have that voice rammering inside of his head, and he basically tells him, you have now you are left with a choice. Essentially, like, join me or give it to me. He knew he had found it.
Yeah.
So he's like, give it to me or, choose to die, one of the two.
Yeah.
And Mark tends to act like he's giving up, and he's like, all right, he kind of puts down his guard like he's giving up, and the guy comes up with a gun. He grabs the guy's gun and chops off his arm. We didn't get to see the blood because this is still Disney Plus.
Yeah, of course.
But he chopped off the arm of one. He killed another guy with it, then threw it and stabbed another guy that was standing in front of Harold.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harold moves him and shoots him point blank, or not point blank, but shoots him in the chest.
Yeah, shoots him twice, I believe.
He shoots him once, and then he backs off, and he says, "I can't help nobody that doesn't want to help themselves," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was right before he shot him or right after he shot him the first time.
Yeah.
I think it was right after he shot him the first time, and then shot him again, and he falls into this water that, again, at initial glance, looks pretty shallow. It's like maybe up to the ankle. type
Yeah,
water.
so I think what happened here is
And this is where it gets confusing.
yeah, this the whole episode from here takes a drastic shift of, and I've been wondering how this was going to happen because the whole way the show was going, obviously we had seen in the if you ever watched the trailers, we had seen a part where he's in like a mental facility
Hmm.
institute or whatever, and you're just like, how is that going to tie into what's going on in the series so far? So once he got shot here, I think what's happening is we're seeing him in his mind like going through like slowly dying or kind of a purgatory
Or
type
the
state.
purgatory. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is more of a
So
purgatory type
that's right.
state.
I think that symbolism of he landed in the water, which is just a couple inches deep, but in his mind he's just infinitely falling as he's processing going through all
Right.
of this.
We're seeing what's going on in his
Yeah.
mind. And then the, I guess someone had made mention that this may be like, what was it?
Excuse me.
The
The
over something.
the overvoid,
Overvoid. Thank you. Where
I
the
think.
gods are at.
Yeah,
And
which
this
is
is
where
the
the
part
gods have
where,
been hiding. It's the part where the gods that have been banished are
yeah,
sent to.
are
So if
sent
that's
to.
the and that's hinted to based off of the character we see at the end, um, which in turn could result in us seeing Khonshu here
But
as well, if that's the case.
when Mark comes to, or before he technically comes to, we flip to this middle hospital. In this middle hospital, we pretty much see everybody that's been a part of the show so
Well,
far.
first off, it opened up with the movie that was playing. There was
Yes,
this
yes.
Tomb Buster movie, which very
Tomb
much
Buster. I couldn't remember
was
the name of the movie.
Indiana
Like,
Jones.
Indiana Jones. Right,
And
it's
Tomb Raider. Yeah, if they had a baby, it would be called Tomb Buster.
If they had a baby that's IQ wasn't very high.
Yeah. Um, and they find out the guy's name, the main character's name in the show was Stephen Grant. So you're just like, oh, okay. So now we're thinking, oh, is this whole scene is to make us think that this whole show up until this point has been going on in Stephen's brain while he's in
Right.
this mental facility, and that he's created this Stephen Grant character in his mind.
But this Stephen Grant character is definitely way better than the Stephen Grant
Yeah.
as far as ability wise.
Yeah.
He's as smart as Stephen was, but he had more ability.
Yeah, so then as it zooms out from the movie that's playing in this mental facility, we see, as you were about to say, a bunch of character callbacks throughout this season so far.
Sure.
We get
Yeah,
the gold
Crawley,
the gold statue dude, calling
who's
out bingo numbers.
Bingo numbers
Yep.
that aren't bingo numbers.
That aren't actual bingo numbers because he throws out a T something.
Yeah,
and
T something.
yeah, and they pointed out that like all the numbers, like bingo, they're categorized based on like all the ones that are B are like 1 through 15.
right.
I is certain numbers, so all the
Certain
numbers were
certain
off. So it's
numbers,
just showing that
He was just all over the place.
he belongs in a mental facility himself because of
Yeah.
that. You see a person playing with Rubik's Cube, which was a callback to the first episode. The fake FBI agents are there as well. They're the
As
workers
disorderlies.
there. We've
Donna.
got Donna, who was Steven's boss. She is in there. There's a cupcake cart, which
That refers back to the cupcake
yep,
truck he stole.
the truck that he stole in episode 1. The passport lady that gave Layla her passport is the one that sketched the hummingbird on and had Khonshu's face on it. And then we get Layla showing up and the goldfish.
We get Steven sitting in front of a
Yes,
a
board.
window.
A window.
A window. And he kind of like looks dazed and confused,
Mm-hmm.
and he thinks he sees Steven. So he gets up. He's like Steven, and he gets up and he's ankle tied to the chair.
Yep.
That
Just
was-
like
that was-
another callback to the first episode where he
Yeah,
was
first
tied to the
episode.
bed.
Yeah.
So
And
just
then-
more hinting at that, like in his mind, he created the scenarios that happened before. He always was chained to his bed, but in reality, he was chained to this wheelchair.
Mhm.
Layla's
her band-aid had a drawing on it of a red scarab
Yep.
for the little scarab callback.
Mm-hmm.
And then Donna was holding, I believe, a scarab, a stuffed scarab, or one of those
Okay,
stuffed toys
yeah.
that he
I
was
think, yeah.
from the gift shop.
Yeah.
And someone had made mention on New Rockstars that the callback to the first episode when the girl said something about him being dead, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'd have to be dead to do that." Da, 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 da.
Oh, yeah, the little girl.
Yeah, it
The fields of something.
kind of made you almost feel like has this been going on in his mind the entire time?
Yeah.
Which is why it leaves everybody to be really confused about what's going on. So then essentially he ends up in this office, Steven does, or Mark does, in the office, talking to somebody with a very familiar voice.
Which ends up being Arthur Harrow, which I don't know if did they actually give him a name in this scene? Did he have a different name or?
I don't think they gave him a name.
I don't think he gave him a name. They just brought him to this guy's office, who they imply is the head of the facility.
Yep.
And as Steven's kind of coming to after everything, he's kind of looking around and seeing all sorts of things around this office that are heavily representing stuff that happened throughout the season. He sees the walking stick, which is the staff that Arthur Harrow has. He sees the shoes, which is the shoes with the glass in the shoes. He sees all sorts of different statues.
The Egyptian statues that look like the stuff where they stored the body parts in.
Yep.
There was a lot of different callbacks, a lot of different things that happened. He actually made mention to the movie. He's like, I finally took this movie. And I was glad to see that my VHS player still worked. He's referencing the movie as, is this why you think you are who you are? Because you've watched this movie so many times.
Yeah.
He, it marks like, everything seems to remind me, and he says that very slowly, very drugged, and he reminds me that he's sedated because of all the actions that happened in the past. But everything, like you said, everything he's seen triggered him, and I think he tries to get up, he falls.
Yeah.
Once he's strong enough to kind of pull himself up, but he realizes that he doesn't have enough strength really to move. The sedation finally, I think, is starting to wear off, and he gets about the wheelchair and asks to be let out the room. I think Arthur Harrow refers back to what he said earlier. I can't help you if you don't help yourself.
Yeah, he mirrors kind of what he said earlier, just says it in a different way.
Yeah, different way.
Just more kind of hinting the fact that maybe that was the last words that he heard right before he presumably died again and was sent into this purgatory state or whatever it is. So then he finally, he gets out of Harrow's room. Again, as he's running out, he's seeing more images or more statues and things that are more so supposed to be there to make us, the watchers, think like, oh, maybe this all was in his head this whole time, because he's seen these things in his mind. He's created them into this other thing. And then he gets out in the hallway, and the whole hallway starts to
do
warp,
the warp thing that it was doing at the storage facility.
It was very similar callback to there. It's like, it's the episode definitely heavily implying, like we were saying, that this is all in his mind and he created it based on everything that's happening in this facility. So then as he's running away, he hides in a room and turns around, and there's a sarcophagus in there.
Yeah,
and someone yelling in there. And
laying down. A laying down sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Because I believe there's callbacks that may go into effect over the next few episodes of why that one was laying down versus the other ones that was standing up that we've seen in another room later on. But he opens up the laying down sarcophagus because he hears somebody say, let me out, get me out of here. And strangely, as I wouldn't have done, open up the sarcophagus.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm cool.
Even if I'm not hearing noises coming out of it, I'm probably not gonna open it. I think I'm good.
I think I'm all right with that. I've seen too many mummy movies, and I'm okay with this.
Colin has a beard in my chat. It says Mark gets shot and it turns into an episode of Legion. Definitely did feel very much like Legion. I watched season 1 of Legion, and it was really good but very confusing. I don't think I ever watched. Was there only one other season, or is there multiple? I don't even know.
I think it was just 2
I know
seasons.
I know there's 2 for sure. I don't know beyond that, but that's a wild show for sure. But it did give very, very much Legion feels, that whole scene. Yep. Someone, Neil, also saying, but I bet no one anywhere could have predicted the whole asylum stuff that came from way out of left field, at least to me. I mean, like I said earlier, I kind of knew that kind of something was going to be happening. There going to be some kind of facility at some point. I just didn't know how it would happen because we did see it in
Right.
the trailers. But yeah,
Right.
I wouldn't have, I guess, predicted
The way it
the
went
way
down.
that it went down and everything
Right.
that they're implying that this has all been going on in his head kind of thing. So that was a cool twist.
Yeah. So after they open up the sarcophagus,
Mhm.
Steven pops out. He's
Steven.
like, Steven?
Yep.
Mark. And they give each other this hug. FYI, if you didn't know, the guy who played Mark when Steven hugged Mark was actually uh, Oscar's brother.
Oscar Isaac's real brother in real life.
Yes,
Yeah.
real brother in real life.
So it
So
was
they used that little quick cinematography to give time for the camera to pan, and then they replaced both. You know, when they separated from hugging, they replaced both people with Oscar.
yeah.
Which you weren't seeing twins. It wasn't his brother's not a twin. His brother's back was to us. So what you seen was the back of his brother, which didn't look any different to us, which is what they want you to believe anyway.
Yeah. So after they kind of just talk about like what's going on, what is this? They're like, I don't know. Let's get out of here though. So then they go out into the hallway and they're kind of just like creeping through the hallway, trying to look around. They walk by another room and then we see now a standing up sarcophagus. And again, you hear some like banging in there. I don't know. Was there any like yelling or anything, or was it
There
just
was
like
definitely yelling.
was
It
there
was
yelling?
muffled yelling.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Khonshu,
Hmm.
but then after thinking about it for a while, and people are saying it in my chat as well, like J Mad Dog and other people that I've seen in other live streams say, I think that's the third personality.
I
that we
def
haven't
yeah.
met yet.
My initial reaction instantly, I thought it's got to be this third personality that they hinted at in the last episode. That they say like, I didn't kill these people. What's wrong with you? Why'd you do this? No, it wasn't me. So all the hints last episode that there's a third person, a couple of other things throughout the season implying there might be a third person. I think this was another hint toward a third personality that might finally reveal itself next week. I don't know, or maybe not until the finale. But
Right.
I feel like next week's episode has got to be them getting out of here, and I feel like if they are going to introduce the third personality, it would have to come in the next episode. That's not something you would just leave in the finale and do that. I don't know.
Right.
Unless, like I think I said it in a previous breakdown, one of these, that if they do it in the finale, it'd be leading into a next season. But they haven't confirmed a second season of the show, and it's been referred to as a limited series, which generally means it's one season. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the god's name.
Oh, Towerette.
Tauret. That's it. Yes, Tauret.
So yeah, after they walk by that sarcophagus, for whatever reason, decide not to open that one. They figured opening up the first one made sense. Opening up a second one, no, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I didn't
I opened up
I
one.
didn't
Wow,
really
I'm
understand
not taking my chances.
like no, I opened up the first time I found Mark. I don't know what I'm going to find out of the next ones. I'm not going to open that one.
Nope, not opening that one. Let's keep running.
So they keep walking out, and then they hear some noises coming from the door in front of them. Door busts open, and we see a massive hippo from Madagascar. And something in my
I'm
chat.
laughing even more because I just read it says somewhere where I was looking for David said it's not the hippo from Madagascar.
Someone said in the chat earlier, they said why they had to put Gloria from Madagascar in episode
Gloria
4.
from Madagascar, Lord Jesus.
That was pretty good.
The turret, yes.
Yeah, and
Pops
this
out.
hippo just goes,
It is-
hi. Ears wiggling and everything like hippos' ears do. And then they both scream as one would if a giant hippo showed up walking on 2 feet
Exactly.
and says hi to you. I would probably be terrified as well.
Yeah,
I would
I'd be
scream
freaking out.
like a little girl.
Freaking out.
So yeah, but that's the end of the episode. That's where we end off. So
Huh. We
But
did
ta-
it again, Captain. I just now realized that we both
What?
used the exact same
reaction to the
reaction
thumbnail.
for the
The
thumbnail.
thumbnail.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Well done.
Just
Great
yeah,
minds think
well,
alike.
There you go. That's 2 weeks in a row. Can we
Yeah.
have a? Can we get it again? All right. So that is the episode. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts they wanted to add to it?
So
This is our
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Captain, what do you think? Episode 5 will take us to. Will we be out of the asylum by the end of episode 5?
I think by the end of the episode, yes, it'll be them figuring out how to get out of here and back to the real world of what's actually happening. Because I do believe that this is all happening in their mind, in sort of a purgatory type state, that they're not actually dead, or this whole episodes 1 through 3 weren't, or and I guess half of episode 4 weren't created in their mind. So I think
Right.
they're gonna get out, get back to the real world. With the help of this hippo, I guess. I don't know who the hippo is named. Like I said, is Tauret. It's the Egyptian deity of childbirth and fertility, which I got to be honest, I don't know how that's gonna help. Childbirth and
Yeah, the
fertility
child birth and
doesn't.
fertility god is going to help them out. Like
Yeah, it
they're
doesn't.
fighting.
Not sure what that has to do with the moon, but
Right. Yeah. It's got everything to do with it, right?
apparently, yeah. So,
I
but
honestly
there
thought
is
that they would.
some people are wondering if the whole we were talking about earlier, that this is the place where the banished gods have been sent, and that's why she's there, because she's one of the gods who has been banished as
Banished.
well,
Yeah, that's
and
what I was
is
thinking.
maybe one of those statues from the beginning opening scene that we saw earlier. So that could be her.
I couldn't pause it and get a long enough look because they're tiny.
Yeah,
Statues.
they're really small to be able to
Yeah, they're really
see
small and
which ones are which.
they widened out like
But there was a
there.
scene in the end credits, I believe there was a picture where they show Khonshu's statue up close, and there's a
Yep.
bunch of other ones around it, and there's one
Around
in the
it.
background that looks to be a hippo as well. So
Yeah.
that kind of implies that maybe she was too.
Manuel says, so if I heard you saying opening up from a sarcophagus, you're telling me to leave you. Got it. Yes, if I'm in the sarcophagus and I'm begging and yelling and screaming, you should probably get out of there, unless you know it's me for sure.
Yeah.
Just saying. Like, I'm not opening up any sarcophaguses for anybody. Captain Bay, I love you. You would have to stay.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Colin has beer saying, "I love the episode. I think that Mark didn't kill Layla's dad, but maybe the third personality did." Yep, I've heard that theory is a possibility.
I don't think any of the
But
personalities did.
I don't.
He said it.
Yeah,
He actually said it. He said he was there with a partner, another mercenary.
yeah.
He didn't pull the trigger, but the guy that almost killed him was the one
Like
that got greedy.
I tried to stop him because he was getting
He
too
tried to
greedy.
stop him. He stopped him getting too
And,
greedy.
Yeah,
He executed all the dig site workers.
because if that's the case, I don't think he would have tried to shoot himself essentially.
Right.
But yeah, it could be. Who knows? We'll have to find out. If they spend the whole episode in the mental institution, they won't have much time to finish off the series. Possibly, I think too. We'll also get some of Harrow. Well, I don't know. Like maybe I think the first half of the episode could be them in the asylum getting out.
Yeah,
And then it'll
obviously there'll be
flashback
some part of the episode with them in the asylum.
Yeah.
What if I left you in there, Ghost Dog? I mean, if you don't know it's me, Jason and Jabari, then yeah, you probably should. Leave me. I'm just saying. It's the code, right? You run away from danger. No, we don't run to it.
Colin saying, "I thought she was the goddess of rebirth and fertility." Oh, is it rebirth? Did I hear it
I thought
wrong?
it was birth, rebirth. Yeah,
I heard
rebirth.
childbirth is what it was described to as. Let's see, what was the name? Tauret.
Tauret, spelled Taweret.
Goddess ancient benevolent protector of fertility and childbirth, associated with the nursing of infants.
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing. So
Okay.
that's really bright.
God of fertility and rejuvenation. is what I'm reading here. Tauret is the Egyptian god of fertility and rejuvenation, whose history goes back to approximately 300,000 BC. She is closely associated with being a protector of women and families. Her most common portrayal is that of a hippopotamus head with a lion's arm, paw, and crocodile tail and legs.
A little bit of a 3-in-1, if you will. More nods of a third personality.
No, you do not know it's me, Jason. Then you run. You run, and you don't look back.
The Bushman is the partner. Yeah, in the comics, the character was the Bushman.
Yeah. So, do you think? How many other gods do you think we'll see in the next coming episodes?
How many gods?
Yeah, because right now we've seen Khonshu, the 5 other gods, and that's it. And then
this hippo now.
This past episode, the hippo.
Yeah.
So that's 6. So how many more do you think we'll see?
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward this whole that they might be in this area where all of these gods have been banished, and that's where they may end up running into Khonshu. Like this hippo could be like, "Oh, hey, you're here now. Let's go and take you to all the other gods that are here, and they're all trying to work together to get out of here." And so, I mean, if that's the case, it could be the 10 that were all there. It could be a whole bunch of them.
Could be a bunch.
Or it could just be this hippo and Khonshu.
Do you think Amet will be released?
I think they'll get close to releasing Amet. I don't think Amet will actually get released, though.
You think they'll find the Book of the Dead?
Book of the Dead?
The Book of the Dead from the Mummy.
Oh, from the Mummy. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the Mummy.
When he took his soul back to the underworld.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the Mummy.
You've never seen the Mummy?
I don't think so.
You got an assignment this week. There's 3 Mummy movies. You got to watch all of them.
Eh.
They're pretty good.
We'll see.
Brendan Fraser's pretty good in them.
Right.
Just saying. You'll enjoy them.
I hope they have like a therapy session where all the gods are just like, all I was doing was helping humans, and I got put here. They have like an AA meeting, like, "Hi, my name is."
My name is this god.
I'm here because of this.
Yes.
And that's funny.
All I was doing was trying to help humans. I made one mistake and moved the mountain, and now I'm here.
Yep. That would be pretty good.
That would be pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Well, I think we're coming up on our hour. We're about 5 minutes early. We started a couple minutes early, so it's okay. It's okay. That is going to be it for this week.
2 episodes left.
We got 2 episodes left.
We're officially in the back half of the show.
Yep. If you have not started watching Moon Knight, well, I don't know why you're watching this recap with us, but if you just like being spoiled, there you go.
Yeah.
We're here. Spoiled, done. So there's that. I see. Mayo says this won't happen, but it would be cool if the god was released, and as soon as he is released, Gore shows up and kills him, and it would lead to the Thor movie.
I don't know. I think it's asking a lot if these shows were to tie in and like leave. Outside of Loki, I feel like is the only one that's really
it's tied in so far.
Is going to lead straight into future things in the MCU because Kang we already knew is going to be an Ant-Man.
He's probably like the next big bad, right? Overall.
I mean, I don't know about maybe, and that's honestly too when he first got into the tomb, I was wondering if they were gonna say this is the tomb of Rama Tut.
Rama Tut. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. That's where my mind initially was going in that scene. I'm like, oh, that'd be such a cool tie-in if they do that. But then also Moon Knight. I guess this might be why he's saying that it could have a tie-in to Thor: Love and Thunder is the whole fight with the gods thing and Gore the God Butcher. Trying to maybe he's had part of that war that they were talking about and has helped lock away a lot of these gods potentially. Or maybe he's gonna find this room and be like, oh, here's a bunch of gods, I can just kill them all right here and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens.
See how it goes. So let's Episode 4 drops Wednesday
Yep.
morning. So if you watch it that early, catch it early. If not, catch it sometime Wednesday because you don't want to get spoiled. Because that's what I do. I watch it as soon as I get home on Wednesday before my stream.
Yep.
That way I avoid all.
I just avoid the internet for a few hours because I work early
I'm at
Wednesday.
work anyway, so
yeah.
Yep. Pretty hard to spoil me at that point. But Cap, anything else for you today?
I think that's I think that's everything for episode 4 for me. Very confusing one. Interesting. Just like we said earlier, is kind of out of the blue. Like, okay, this is happening. Is this real? Oh, wait, what? Is this show real?
Yeah.
What's going on? So
yeah,
it'll be fun to see where it goes from here.
Yep. Hey, low key, what's going on? So we definitely will catch up next week on that one and see how things go. I think until then, I think that's it, right? We're good.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
All righty. Later, everybody.
Captain Ghost, I was out.
See ya.
Later.